What is up? This is your boy Anecdotal, and today we're gonna talk about the best side game in the App Store, at least that I could find, man. So if you're wondering, hey man, where did you and your entire guild and all your friends that played Endless Frontier end up hopping out to? We ended up hopping onto this, man. We ended up going into Mythic Heroes. Seriously, man, 30 minutes might be the maximum amount of time I've ever spent on this game daily. If you're looking for a side game that you don't need to invest a large amount of time into, and if you want to, you could invest more time. I don't know how much it's going to help you. Maybe in the beginning, it'll help you a lot more, but at the end, not really. You might have seen some familiar names there in the guild, all from Endless Frontier. But yeah, man, we ended up moving here, but now, crazily enough, a lot of people are leaving. Now, unlike Endless Frontier, for Mythic Heroes, I decided not to follow a meta at all. I might be using a lot of meta characters right now, but that's just because they were just more useful. I have no idea why anyone's better than anyone else. I just brain dead play this game just to chill for like 15 minutes. Seriously. There are other things you can do in the game, but honestly, to get all your dailies done, to make sure the weeklies are all filled up, 15 minutes. Really all it takes for the entire day, and you're not going to really be missing out on anything at all. And funnily, like the funny thing is, of those 15 minutes, the ads that I'm going to be watching to get some other like free stuff, that's probably like 2 or 3 of those 15 minutes. So, I mean, it's some pretty funny stuff. But as you can see here, just a lot of skip functionality into this game. You can pillage or just skip everything 3 times. Sure, you need to do your initial attack, but once that's done, the overall power of your team isn't going to be very different from day 1 to day 2, especially if you're just autoing like me. That's another thing, man. If you're actually trying to progress in the game for the story mode, the campaign, and all these other stuff like these guild boss dragons and such, you could play manually. I, however, have never played manually. I might be like 30, 40 stages ahead if I did play manually and I did know the skills for everybody. But the beauty of the game is that you really don't have to, and it's not designed for you to have to. Everything is skippable, everything is one-time play only, unless it's some sort of guild war where you kind of want to see how everything happens. Actually, I'm lying. Guild war is also skippable. The one thing that isn't is this attribute only sort of tower. It's basically a tower. It's an endless tower mode for specific attributes that you have. You got your market here. Most of it refreshes daily, if not it's weekly. And then here, a small tip that I could give you for those of you that are playing the game that did not know this yet, you can reset this, especially when it's doubled up for diamonds, and you can just farm diamonds that way. It's always 50 to reset, so it's almost always worth it. It didn't quite work out for me that time, but I ended up just getting a net 0 since it refreshed to the 100. But usually it always works, so I started to do that almost all the time. There is a pity meter, but this game isn't very stingy. You don't always have to hit pity to get the thing that you want. But I think that if you do end up getting whatever the banner character is, that it does reset it. Like I said here, the funny thing is you're further incentivized to watch these advertisements because, as you can see over here in the bottom, 100 of the credits for you actually watching it will unlock an artifact. Artifacts is like this whole other thing within a small museum section of the game where you could further power up your heroes. When this came in, everyone pretty much skyrocketed for a bit, but a lot of things are pretty much settled down now. Here you have your server event stuff. This is pretty cool. Again, it only takes a couple of seconds. You collect your free one, you put in 2 little ticket talisman thingamajogs, and then you're done. That's it. For me right now, I'm pretty much focusing on everything on the left side, even though I'll probably only get to the 2nd or 3rd level because I like to save my stuff. Hilariously enough, in the rankings that you'll see, I've ended up being top 3. I ended up being first, I think once. I think I was second twice on different events because they all coincide with each other. So if you just save up, for me, I saved up. I went in on the very first day that these events came in, and after that, I just decided to save. And after saving on the third revolution of every single one of these events, I went ham and I ended up being first in all of them. And of course, you got to do the cheeky thing where you do it on the last day and you do it on the last couple of minutes that you can, so you can just steal it. This event, this sort of first year, I think it's the first year, 1 year anniversary event, I have no idea what's going on. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. There's something about dice. You roll them, you kind of somehow have a higher number to have more tiles. But yeah, I have no idea what's going on there, and I'm not nearly anywhere as active because, no lie, this video right here is my daily. I'm not gonna go back into this game for the rest of the day because I did everything. There's nothing more to be gained. I could go back to the Astro Globe thing that you saw earlier to collect some gold, but I mean, I think it's like 24 hours. So as long as I log in somewhere around the same amount of time or the same time as I did today, tomorrow, I pretty much got everything. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and do this little summon here so I can spend the diamonds so I can help out in the event. It's like a team thing, and for the most part, the team thing is my 3 or 4 other alliance mates that make up the team for this anniversary event that I have no idea what's going on in it, man. No idea. I have a whole lot of dice. I'm gonna roll them and see what's gonna happen later. I might miss it, but you know, it is what it is, man. So as you can see, a lot of it is done, and a lot of it is actually also just me showcasing what's going on in the game and the account. Honestly, I'd be done with this way, way faster. Way faster. But it's a really cool game. You got your tanks, you got your healers, you got your warriors, you got your mages, right? And that's all you need. You also have some split ones that are UR characters. So if you're looking for a game that has all these different type of rarities, you got your URs, you got your SSRs, and your SRs. For the most part, you're gonna have to use your SSRs. Your SRs are pretty much useless, and your URs are pretty much whales only. There are quite a few that are kind of useful. So as you can see right here, while I'm playing this event just kind of, not event, this is kind of like a new game mode that was added into an already existing game mode where you use only UR characters. You can see the one in the center in the back row. I think it was Isis. Super useful UR even if you haven't powered her up because she's a huge buff character. So, you know, if you already are playing this game and you didn't know that she's a buff character, like I do. I ignored a lot of the URs because I'm like, hey, I'm free to play. By the way, completely free to play. Unlike Endless Frontier, for this game, completely free to play, completely zero grind. I'm pretty much just logging in and doing my thing. Athena is my main tank. This is how you level up every single time in the shop. You see you got that EXP, you get that money, or the gold, and then you'll have this Stardust. You don't really see that yet, but by the time you end up going to the next level, you'll have Stardust to level up even further, and then you just keep going up. I have no idea what the end level is. I don't know if there even is one, but if there is one, I'm sure a cap is coming pretty soon. Again, there were maybe hundreds of servers. I don't remember when I started playing this game. I know I hopped in late even compared to the guildmates that I have that told me to hop in because I was still finishing up things on Endless Frontier, and then I just took a break from idle games because what was it? Oh, My Hero Academia came out. And we all know how that one turned out. I'm still playing it though. I'm still playing it. All right. But yeah, there's weapons. You could upgrade these weapons. There's no way to get more of these upgrades. I'm assuming you could spend money, but there's the daily resource grinding that you do, and once you get that grinding done, that's all you got. So every single day, once you go in, you get it, you double check what you need, you try to get to any of one of those hundreds because you get your little power bump there, and then you do it. So you get it at 100, 200, 300, 400. If you want to be cool, you can go ahead and go into their divinity. There you go. Look at me knowing names of stuff and things. You can go into their divinity, power them up. It's actually really easy to get most characters to divinity 7, at least for me, because I stopped powering most people up. And at that point, you could just go straight line and get everyone buffed up. There was a previous update that kind of messed everything up. Like, seriously messed everything up. We used to just get a central, like, amount of divinity for whatever class we wanted. but now everything is just kind of thrown out divinity wise for every kind of attribute. So you can see like there's like a light faction, and then there's like a red one and a green one and a blue one. So for those colors, there's different divinities for all of them. Before there was just one, or you can center everything on just one. But now every time you get one thing, it gets split on four, and even if you're not using all four, it doesn't matter. And the whole point of the game is to create your own faction. So like a one pure attribute thing. Now I didn't do that because I just went with whatever looked cooler. But yeah, man. So like Thor is kind of a letdown. I think I was using him early on because he's Thor. Not very great of a character, but I already have him up to like diamond whatever. So I have so many copies of him that I might as well invest on him because he's that powerful because of the copies. But as a character, not so much. Athena is she's a tank that you're given at the very beginning of the game. Athena, Zeus, and Thor, I think, are the first three that you're given. I think Gaia as well. But yeah, I'm trying to save up these so that I could increase. First of all, there's skills that you could put on. It's not special. Everyone pretty much has the same skills that you can put up, the same three skills, and you just equip them. Now, if you didn't know, though, the last update, well, not last, 2-3 months ago, maybe, they had I guess, a Greek or an Asgardian update where Freya, who I was just showing, and Loki came out. And those two, man, changed the game. Literally on the just pulling, just getting them, which is not hard to do in this game. It's not hard to just get and unlock a character. What's hard is to upgrade that character. So just getting that character, Loki, or getting Freya, is an automatic dub for your account, man. So if you have them and you didn't already know, they are super meta. By the way, there's all these different things that I don't pay attention to, all right? There's specific units, characters that you might want to have for bosses specifically because they end up taking out a chunk of HP. There are buffers that will help you do that as well, or debuffers that will help you do that, and just really high single target damage characters. And then there's like AoE kind of characters that's good for like story or campaign or whatever. So for me, I just look for anyone who's as all-purpose as possible, except for the samurai that I have over there. Literally, one of my guildmates was like, yo, you have him? Why are you not investing in him? And I'm like, dude, I tried him. He looked cool. He dies. He just runs up to people. He's a glass cannon, and there's no cannon shot because he is cannon fodder for who's ever in front of him. But honestly, after investing in him, he's definitely worth it. He's doing great for bosses, and he's a great snipe for any healer. Anytime you see a healer, you just put him in there, bam, 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 boom, slice, dice, over. So what's his name? Susanoo. There you go. Susanoo, the samurai. You see him in a lot of places. He's very good. I think he's meta. Now, I don't know he's meta because I don't pay attention like that. I'm just enjoying the game. But, man, is he useful. There are a couple of events that pop up where you need to face a series of teams. And sometimes there's just like an annoying DPS or an annoying healer. And like worst case scenario, there's an annoying Susanoo. And Susanoo versus Susanoo does not work when you're facing the CPU, man. When you're facing the computer, they always win. There's no beating that Susanoo. There's everything that would counter mine will not counter theirs. But yeah, man, it's really cool. For Arena, as you see, it's just super, super, super fast. And you can just pick out what you want afterwards in the market. They actually debuff the rewards for this as well. Even though I'm not paying attention, I do notice that I can't buy things in the market as quickly as I used to. So you used to just get way more rewards. Every time you won, and the higher rank you were just like splurging, man. They just gave you all these different titles, and because of that, you got more. Here, there's also an additional incentive for doing your dailies as well, that you have a chance to get any of these things every 20 days. So every 20 days that you do your dailies, you have this little cube thingy that will start filling up, and if you do all of your dailies, you end up getting to visit that. You get like some random free thing, and then you can go ahead and get something special. It doesn't look like it's like all that, but it's just like an additional good thing for doing something you would have already been doing. And like, cool, you get to see it go from 0 to 1 all the way to 20, and you get your reward. Artifacts are really cool. For those of you that want some sort of advice, there are all of these awakenings that you can do for the common ones if you didn't know, and they could increase the percentage of getting like a higher restoration. So sometimes you'll see that you'll restore something, it'll go up by 1%. That's normal. Other times it'll go up by 2 or by 3, and that's because you could awaken those and increase that. That's what I'm working on. Other than that, things that have attack or things that have a graded set bonus that will give you some sort of restoration. So restoration for me is number one, because I mean, why up that in the end when you have all the artifacts? You should up it early so that way it matters. And then the second thing for me is attack. Sure, like defense might be cool and everything, but honestly, I just want to be able to beat stuff. It's horrible when you die though, but I'm just saying, I'd rather just do a whole lot of damage. There are sets, and the cool thing about sets is on the upper left side there's a popularity tag. You could just see what everyone's doing and then just copy them. Now of course there is the flaw that everyone could just be copying somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, but for the most part all tanks are going to do earth because it increases defense, and most people that are attackers are going to use fire because, I don't know, something about increasing attack. If it's not fire, it might be darkness or something. Those are like the three things. I know like one person has lightning, but for the most part, all tanks are earth. And then all attackers are fire. And they all have axes. I don't know why, man. There's like all this variety, but it seems like everyone is using the exact same thing. It really does. So it's cool that they came up with all these things, but they just kind of made some things obviously better than the others, or everyone just kind of gave a blanket answer for all equipment for everyone else, and then everyone else kind of just went with it. But I actually went on YouTube, searched this game to see how it was doing. Nobody's making any content on this game. So this game right here is probably a dead game. But either way, I just gotta say, this has definitely been the best side game. And this is from someone that doesn't have side games. Like, I might have like a side game that I'm playing on the side, but it's actually a main game. Like, this one, true side game. In fact, you could end the video right there. That's how long it takes me to do my dailies. This is some extra stuff that you do like once every 3 days. The Pantheon is a really cool sort of dungeon crawly kind of game mode where you just collect power-ups as you go further into the cave or the dungeon. This is really cool. Every single time there's a game mode like this in a game, I really appreciate it. In fact, for those of you that watch my My Hero Academia stuff, this would be what Operation X is. So you just kind of fight people. You're not that strong, but as you keep getting more power-ups and more buffs, you end up getting stronger, and then you end up having a higher level opposition, but hopefully your buffs end up helping you like surpass whatever the higher level enemies are. It's just, you know, why beat something up, you know? Why try to reinvent the wheel? There's already amazing game modes that have already existed in a whole lot of other games before you. Keep doing it, man. Are you telling me people are not playing Operation X? Oh, but yeah. Let's go ahead and stick to this. So, of course, you have your regular skills, and then you have your, I guess, artifacts. I forget what these things are called. But you just go ahead and you pick them. For me, I used to always go on Zeus because Zeus gave you attack. But I started noticing that the one that gives you heals is actually a little bit better. The ones that do knockback, that artifact is actually pretty clutch. And I always went on attack speed because I felt like attack speed will help, but I don't think it does. Maybe it's because everything's always at 3 times speed. I don't really notice it. Here, Medusa is pretty useful. The 4 seconds that no one's doing everything will be enough for somebody to end up doing their ultimate. So that's just like a really clutch thing to have in Pantheon. Here, for the most part, I always go on energy to refill it. That way I just ult the second everything starts. But since I lost my tank, I'm going to go ahead and revive my tank. My tank, again, I don't know if they're meta or not, but Poseidon, when he came out, I just found him to be super useful because it gets everybody in a tornado and just kind of leaves them there. There are a couple of other tanks, like, how can you not like Athena? It's like you're spoiled when you first enter the game and have her, because her skill is giving everybody else a shield. Now, the only bad thing about it is that no one gets the heal from that skill, but it's like a huge shield, man. It mitigates so much damage. So it's such a useful thing to have. If just just Athena is alive, plus 1 DPS, chances are I might win because the shield is covering the DPS and Athena is absorbing all of the damage. So it's really good. Now, you see in the middle, I have the Umbrella Girl in the mid back row. She is also super useful. I actually started using her a lot more than everyone else. When the game first came out for me, when I first started playing the game, she is the person that I put pretty much everything into because she just kept attacking everyone. She's also the first person that I leveled up the iconic weapon for. It's just the weapon, the thing that you saw where I was powering them up with the different colored little orb things. She ends up having like a ghost. Ooh, the weapon also transforms after every 100, I believe. The weapon does transform so that it becomes more of an iconic weapon. And that's a pretty cool thing because you actually see it on the character being displayed while you play the game as well. So that's also really cool. Same thing, you can see it for like Athena. If my shield and such looks cooler, a little more brighter, a little more shinier, that's because I have the weapon. You can see the fan from the person I have all the way in the bottom that's teleporting around hitting everybody. She has huge DPS, man. Huge DPS. But if you're wondering, hey man, why is that fan looking so flashy? Why is there fire on it? That's because I upgraded the iconic weapon, man. So it's pretty cool that you actually see some difference in the way somebody looks based on the upgrades that you give them. Like, sure, you're not going to see it level by level. They're not going to evolve or whatever, but their weapons do. And that's a pretty cool thing. There's also uniforms in this, or costumes as they call it in this game. I pretty much only have the free costume. Oh man, I don't know what happened. At some point this game went a little south, man. They went a little too heavy on the monetization. Like, I really don't understand what happened when they went with costumes. They have all this other stuff. They have like this new currency, and I'm pretty sure it's only for spenders, or it's for people that completely finished characters that are SSR characters, and then you get like these tokens. But I'm like so far away from that. But I mean, it's only been a year, so I guess sure. I'm sure other people are in it because I didn't start playing this game when it first came out. I was probably a month or two late to the party. Probably 2 or 3 months late to the party. But I ended up catching up, man. And again, I ended up catching up by only playing 30 minutes a day. There are a couple people that are probably like, oh, if the game's only 30 minutes worth of like playing the game, why would I play this game? Probably because you have other stuff to do, man. But if it's only 30 minutes of your day, right? And you miss it, that's what I'm going to catch up to you. And that's it. Now, of course, you can start pushing on campaign to go further. There are events that you can try hard by continuously trying out different formations. So right here, I'm always using the same formation, which is 2 tanks in the front. The secondary one might not be an actual tank. Athena usually is my only tank. It's only for this game mode that I double up on the tanks. I usually use some sort of a warrior, usually Loki because he creates copies of himself. So it definitely mitigates damage that way because you're just hitting the clone while he's hitting you. Basically a tank, but has high attack. That's why Loki's pretty meta. At least in my opinion, I just saw that like the whole game was like, dude, Loki's obviously a beast and Freya is obviously great for bosses. Like there's no way it's not. Oh, you could also check the thing, the upper left thing, where with that tab where it shows that everything is what everything is popular and all that. There's that. It pops up for bosses. It pops up for different stages. So you could actually look at what other people are using to beat other stages, and then you can just get those characters. That's how you can kind of figure out who's meta if there's no one covering it. Because like I said, I went ahead on YouTube, searched up Mythic Heroes to see if there's any content on the game. I feel like it died like 3 months ago, bro. This might be one of the newest and one of the last Mythic Heroes videos. Eric, why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you putting out a potentially 15 to 30 minute video out there that no one's gonna care about because no one cares about Mythic Heroes anymore? Man, this was the thing, man. I got a comment. A couple people were asking me whether I'm gonna go back to EF, and then a couple of people were just kind of stopping by back to the channel because they know me from EF. They're like, yo, what are you up to? This is the idle game that took over EF, and it is, in my opinion, the best side game because the efficiency of it is so high. 15 to 30 minutes, man. That's it. That's all the game asks from you. And after playing Endless Frontier, it was truly endless, man. You get all the way to the end of the stage, you revive, and you got to do that 5 times. And at quickest, it was like a 20-25 minute thing that you had to do 3 to 5 times. That way you get all your revives in with the bonuses. Here, nah, man, that whole 25 minutes is the entire day. And it'll be more if you want to like look at your character, but you don't always have to look at characters. You can look at their skills. You can see what they do. You can try to optimize them. But you only have to do that once, man. You only got to do that one time. So after having such an endless game where you basically destroyed your batteries, man, having something that's so terse, man. Such a brief moment in time needs to be taken for this game was such a fresh, like a breath of fresh air for me, and for all of my alliance mates, my guild mates, my team, whatever you want to call them. That dude, this game, man. Honestly, I didn't really love it when I first started playing it, but it was just like, yo, a whole lot of my guild mates are here. Most of the people from Endless Frontier ended up gravitating to this game. We all decided, yo, let's go ahead and play a game after EF because we all obviously quit EF. Bro, this solid game. Like in the beginning, I was like, yo, let's figure everything out. Let's be number one. But yeah, now we're like, I don't know, rank 700 or something, somewhere around there. Oh, look at that. We got lucky on the poll. Nice, nice, nice. Ooh, usually here, I would say, if you like this video, make sure to like it, share it with anybody from the community of this game. I mean, sure, if you want to, but I'm not going to revisit this game. But yeah, man, in the end, make yourselves known, comment down below, and peace out, man. And feel free to try out that, in my opinion, because of how brief of time you can spend playing this game and still do amazing at, this for me is the greatest side game ever. Because what other side game can you play has progression and only takes you 25-30 minutes max to play? And this is with me just messing around, throwing different tabs around, and like kind of showcasing my 9 to 10 month account. There you go, man. So yeah, peace out once again. If you played this game or do play this game, make sure to comment it down below. If you know of a better side game, let me know, because I might be quitting this game pretty soon. The video you see just now out of nowhere playing it might quit pretty soon. But yeah, man, comment down below. Peace out.